Tulitumere endisi weinu inchoriso tulitumere kumuyendisi weinu inchoriso miu nizuminine nitambule bantu muchiSS kutendera maofisa vakazopi ministry vazuwe kamuhero wetu Director of Ceremonies, Honorable James Sankwasa, Minister of Urban and Rural Development, Honorable Retired Colonel Lawrence Althea Sampofu, Governor of Zambezi region, who is not here with us. In the place we have Honorable Bernard Sisamu. Honorable Chairperson of Council of Traditional Leaders, unfortunately he is not available. Regional Commander Andreas Chilelo and all uniformed members present. Unfortunately, we have in the place Deputy Commissioner Nehemiah, Dr. Wilhelmina, guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me to take this opportunity to welcome you all at Tubukalo, the headquarters of the Masubia Traditional Authority. As I do so, I equally extend my welcome and gratitude for accepting our invitation to come and join us as we witness a milestone in the life of the Masubia Traditional Authority. The occasion that brought us here today is indeed long overdue. Today is a very important and solemn day in which we all be witnessing the inauguration and coronation of Munitenge designate Gelbert Muhongo Mutwa as the chief of the Masubia Traditional Authority. In keeping with our culture and tradition, a coronation is a very private affair which is not open to all the public, but only a chosen few. To our guest of honor, I'm happy to inform you all slalom donors from all the 18 districts that form the Masubia Traditional Authority are present here to come and witness and welcome their chief on behalf of their people. As I indicated, this is a solemn and private affair whose ceremony is brief, as much of the activities involved are cultural guided, hence very brief. I therefore would like to once again appeal to all our people, to other traditional authorities in our region to be patient with us on this day, as the main event is still to come, where all the interested will be invited and feel free to attend. I ask for your understanding and support to ensure that this process is performed in conformity with our tradition and culture. Once again, welcome and feel at home. I thank you for your presence.
That is taking place now, and this process is led by Natamoyo. Natamoyo is the advisor, the very closest advisor to the chief. So Natamoyo will lead this process. For us is to observe and see the whole process as it unfolds.
Nijude. No.
Mwetuzu wikela namuleta kuno kuchichaba chabwikuhane kwine nkuta yetu mwamutambula chamanzo ubere kakwina hani bwene ha holofere kakwina na ngatika keuka ni bwene kena nako misuno hanu tumuhezi na iso tube kuhane tuikere hanu imizina lyakwe jimfumu wetu mulena Mulaliswani III nisibolera kuamana n'izina ya mfumu wetu izina lyakwe nji Mulaliswani III. Hano hatwina banke betu mane tusina ni bana bamalena bekere hano tachwalo history izibitu ahulu ni bashemi betu ukambirira hateni aho babati kuti muntu habuza uzo muntu kwina cyasaka usone yakuzuisisa sepa kuti hatumani naho
ireza shakunempa sikuhazi kando Yohana nyanga shandandulo mukulu hazane mpumpu sono hanu ngowe Mulaliswani wobutatu inkondo ibasumukwe abiha ngowe kuzwa mulonga bukuzu sirilwa muzimu ya nangwena simukweli abiha abiheni zakwe sichorero kasanzu omuchorera kasanzu chwa musumpa simbali inkondo izwa kumuntu munitenge sitengwa chimo kabule akutengerezi ambo mwana waitenge mukulu hakubengera wafwa yohala umuhamukonda mafula mwachaze mwana asingongi njewe chikunga yokungite bwikuhane nibwene bantu bonse balolete babwene nisaka kuhelo kolye kabiri lyazwete simwine bamwe mwendi balibonanga fera kabezi kukiri tolokanzi michina litoloka hanu hali zwete kabiryo lienderera nizitenda ntu zakwe chabufwihi ikabiryongwe na kulibikira kakwina chatia kurunzo butota kamuti halwira nondabu lyani kalimeni ungwe amubwene bulotu mubala wakwe kahena kutini luhuho lwakwe mulwina wina luhuho lubi kasuni kutondekwa kumutondeka bulyo usikiteza kuzwise kakabika habulubi kumbire nkusinika lyolyo
All protocol observed. Good morning. It is an immense privilege for stand before you today at this historic event. To witness the coronation of our long-waiting chief of the Masubia tribe authority and symbol of our rich traditions, unity, and the value of that continues to guide us. Without further delay, allow me to congratulate our newly crowned Munintenge, your accession to this esteemed position carries with it a great responsibility, but also a profound opportunity to lead with wisdom and strength. May your leadership bring prosperity, harmony, and continue proud to this community as guided by the ancestral wisdom of your forebearers and the aspiration of your people. We are fortunate to this dedication individuals, both traditional leadership and in government, commitment serving the needs and aspiration of your people. As we celebrate today, the event led us also look forward to the collective efforts that will move us towards a brighter and more inclusive future. My task is not to speak much, but task is to introduce to the gathering the dedicated icon of the government who made it possible
The Bluetooth device has connected successfully.
to come and be the eye of the state. Let us join hands.
As district headmen and women, other distinguished tribesmen and women, the clergy, and all that have made it possible to be present this morning. The Masubia tribe has been without a chief for over 4 years. On my appointment by Her Excellency Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah as the Minister of Urban and Rural Development, I found the dispute of the Masubia tribe have been on the table of my former predecessor for over 4 years unresolved. And as much as I'm from this community equally, I was disturbed. Why was the tribe without a chief for 4 years? This morning, Director of Proceedings, I want to go to the core of issues. Because those who taught me diplomacy said diplomacy is not a good thing. It is the ability to tell people to go to hell in such a way that they look forward to enjoy the trip. And thus, I do not entertain diplomacy. I want to be practical. The Masubia community or tribe has had a culture and tradition over centuries, which was observed and respected, but which of late became diluted. Diluted in the sense that when our ancestors, our earthbound grandparents observed and used it effectively, we as a new generation have come and eroded our own culture. Thus, we are left in conflict and disputes over and over. As I was growing up, I used to hear of the word importer for referring to those that were not educated. But I remember that a pot is very, very crucial in every home. Because without that, you cannot cook food. But what I'm learned from that is that those that we considered uneducated were more knowledgeable, more united, and peace-loving people than those who have come from our academic institutions. Never in this history of the Masubia did we have or witness a situation where a tribe or a community could go without a chief for 4 years. Simply because there was a dispute amongst and between the members of the royal family, who are supposed and are expected to be the custodian of the knowledge and customs, but found now in the forefront of destroying the same culture. Director of Proceedings, when I was considering these points on my appointment, I was tempted and driven to study as to what was the causative factors of this situation. The investigation reports, of which 2 of them were carried by the ministry, revealed the truth, but it was not implemented as presented because there were too much lies and misinformation in some of the submitting made to the investigative. Too much lies. And this is the lies and the misinformation that have been given to government by those who want to see destruction in the community. Instead of telling the truth, instead of giving the correct information, people chose to misinform the government. What was that misinformation? I came to establish that on the 3rd of April. I came here myself with the staff of the ministry, with the lawyer from the government attorney, to come and establish the truth and get to know what was the underlying factors. And I want to believe that I established the facts from non-facts. And before I came here, I had sent 7 questions to all the different royal family members to address them. One of them was, what is the cultural and traditional way of choosing a chief? But among all the questions I raised, the paramount question was, which side does the Masubia tradition allow to choose a chief? Is it maternal or is it paternal? Because there was so much misinformation on that question. Are the Masubia's inheritance paternal or maternal? I came here, I was informed in writing that the Masubia tradition is paternal in nature. But then I found that those who were in dispute were not paternal or maternal. Since when we create confusion amongst ourselves? And what are we trying to achieve by that? And I'm addressing the question because even after my visit, and even after I have approved the chieftainship, there was still continued lying. And I want to address that. People still continue lying. To say I came here and it's me who has chosen the chief designate. How do I come all the way from the minister's office to come and choose a chief here? People are not even ashamed of such lies. My job is not to choose a chief. My job and the duties and functions as per Article 41 of the Constitution is that I have to approve the chosen person as a chief. I do not choose. The facts that were presented to me by those that chose to lie was one, that the late Chief Joshua Mulaliswani has left a decision that none of his children should ever inherit the chieftainship. I tried to find out who did the Chief Mulaliswani say those words to. I was never presented with any. The second line, which actually pained me as a person, was the issue of that Chief Joshua Mulaliswani was never a chief of the Masubia tribe. He was an acting chief. From 1965 to 1996, a person was acting as a chief from 1965 to 1996. I wanted to know, for whom was he acting? I was never told. I wanted to know, why was he allowed to act for so long? Why didn't the correct chief then take over? I did not get a correct answer. Such amount of lies is dangerous for the community. Because as I stand here, and I told some people in that hearing, as I stand here today, when Chief Joshua Mutwa Mulaliswani was being chosen and inaugurated, I was personally in Kabe with my uncle Letimu Indona Muhoroma. I was there. So I told people, don't come and lie to me, because you'll not get it right. The third lie that was said is that Sankwasa has approved Chief Designate Gelbert Muhongo because they have discussed about Skanjabuka, where Sankwasa comes from. And they've agreed on something that we cannot disclose, apparently, between the two of them, that when he approves his chieftainship, then the issue of Skanjabuka will not be discussed. I want to tell you, those that know history will know that Chief Sanjo was at Goha Hills the first time in Botswana. And when Chief Sanjo was at Goha Hills in Botswana, my own great-grandfather, Mulonga Kasuka, was in Skanjabuka. Get that right. So when it comes to Skanjabuka, I don't negotiate it with anybody, because that's where my great-grandfather are. So therefore, we should be able to tell the truth. Because again, as I stand here, when Chief Maiva Simvula used to come through by wagon from Ahundu to Kabe, he used to overnight in my village, Kagubwana. And we are the boys that used to clean the house where he was housed for a day or two. There was never any conflict between the tribes. Never. Because people respected each other. Today, much lies is being said. So I'm inviting those that want to understand Skanjabuka to come and see me, because I am born and bred there. The other lie was that Chief Joshua Mulaliswani was not the rightful chief of the Masubia. So his children cannot take over the inheritance. People forgot that traditionally, culturally, customarily, chieftainship is chosen according to criteria. One of them being, when the chief is alive, he identifies who inherits from him. Part of our culture. The chief himself can identify.
Power on. Bluetooth mode.
And this history was done in 1965. It's a written document presented to me by those that came to see me on the 3rd of April. That Chief Maiva Simvula, before he died, he had directed
Power on.
that
Bluetooth.
one of the daughters should be a chief. But if the tribe does not approve of a woman, then his own son, Joshua Mutwa Mulaliswani, must be the chief. This was Chief Maiva Simvula himself, who chose Chief which was Joshua Mutwa Mulaliswani, the father of the current chief that we designate today. But then the other lie was that he was appointed to act because he was not the rightful chief. But the document that they presented to me, they read it halfway. Because the end result of that document was saying, by the Bantu Affairs Commissioner who was stationed in Katima, said the government must not recognize Chief Mutwa Mulaliswani as a chief, because his son George, who was now involved with this canoe in politics, might come and lay claim to the chieftainship. So if today someone stands in this region and tells the whole Namibia that Chief Mulaliswani was not a member of the political party, is a lie. Because his own children, way back in 1965, were already involved in this politics. They established the government. So why do we go around telling lies? What are we trying to achieve by telling lies from this region? For 35 years we are lying to government. Tell the truth, and the truth will set you free. They failed to distinguish between tradition and politics. The reason that the Bantu Affairs Commissioner said we should not allow Joshua Mutwa Mulaliswani to rule is because of politics, because his children are involved in politics. It had nothing to do with tradition. Nothing. Because traditionally he qualified, but politically the colonizers feared him. Therefore, we should be able to differentiate between tradition and politics. And this is my mission from the time of my appointment. That I'm appointed to be Minister of Urban and Rural Development. Rural development includes traditional authorities. And when confronted with my job description, and realizing that the Masubia tribe has no chief, it tempted me to find out, why does each tribe in Namibia or elsewhere in Africa, even in Europe, have a king or a queen or a chief? It's because there are certain traditional cultural functions that such a person has to perform. One of them is to oversee and deal with customary disputes. There are customary marriages that the chief must deal with. There is land disputes that the chief must deal with. There is allocation of villages or land for establishing villages and fields. These are functions of a chief and the traditional authority. Now, for 4 years, without a tribe, without a chief, the tribe suffered because none of the best people could perform these functions. In terms of the Traditional Authority Act, the chief has got functions. Major one being peace and unity in the community and the neighboring communities. Therefore, I'm appealing to the chief designate, whom I know and for sure it's a fact that these laws we are going to use were drafted by him.
Bluetooth mode.
So he's simply here to implement what he drafted. And I'll be there to work with him to ensure that these laws are observed. In terms of the Communal Land Reform Act, is the chief that allocates customary land rights, whether existing or new. Now, in the absence of a chief for 4 years, the tribe did not have this right. Why do we want to perpetuate the denial of this right to the tribe? Conflicts are necessary conflicts amongst ourselves. So when I looked at all these facts, the tradition has been met, the legislative framework has been met, I therefore was left with no option but to recognize and approve the chieftainship over the Masubia under Gelbert, Muhongo, Mutwa. And I'm ready to be challenged by anybody on that decision. Because I followed the tradition of the Masubia community or tribe. I can only apologize if I did not follow the custom and tradition of the Masubia people. My office does not recognize political appointments because political appointments are for the President of the Republic. But I deal with traditional and customary matters. And my age allows me that I have known much of the customs and traditions in this region. I'm not a young person. So therefore, even this disunity that has happened over the time, Chief Designate, is my appeal that as you go, you know you had the enemies or self-made enemies, which were not supposed to be your enemies. But the old Aluyana adage says, I don't know whether we all understand that. Mbumuka wakatondo na mubika. Hakuna mulena yana nikaingore ni mutanga. The other one says, kwaria mbumu kwaria mubika. Sha? Kwaria mbumu kwaria mubika. Says shiwa kimulena shiwa kimutanga. This is my appeal to you, Chief. As you get coronated today, all the Masubias are now your children, are now your subjects. Whether they liked you, they didn't like you, they did not love you, they are all your children now. Accept them and treat them equally. That's what leadership is all about. Create unity between the tribes and among the tribes in the region. Because as I stand here, maybe the young people don't know. This tree that is behind here, which is giving you a shade, this was planted by Chief Richard Muhinda Mamiri. This tree, in 1972. Why would a chief of the Mafia come and plant a tree here if there was no unity? If you go to Chinchimani today, you find the similar trees, same trees, planted there by Chief Joshua Mulaliswani at Chinchimani. That's how united the old people were versus the disunity that you are praying today. And this disunity must be exposed for what it deserves. Because when it comes to marriage, we are marrying each other. You never ask a woman whether she's a Mutwa or a Subia. You just say, I love you because you are beautiful, that's all. And because of that, only a handful of people in this region can claim to be pure Masubias. And can claim to be pure Mafwe or whatever. We are all mixed up. So we should not go there and fool ourselves by telling lies to other tribes. One and the same people. The other day, when I was officially opening the road for Nakaborero, there was a girl there, a daughter of the current designated chief, a daughter who's working for Roads Authority, whose mother is a Mbukushu. So Mbukushu is in the royal family. Who are we trying to fool here? You go to the chief of the Mafwe, there are kids there, the grandkids of the Mudavids. Who are we fooling? So you come to the royal family of the Masubia, there are Mafwes there. You go to the royal family of the Mafwe, there are Subias there. Why are we fooling ourselves? Who are we trying to please here? Because of these lies, this region has been left behind in development. I can tell you rightly, factually, that the second international airport of Namibia was supposed to be Mpacha, Katima Muliro, way back in 1991. But the people running around say, we cannot have an airport there because it's going to benefit the Mafwe. How many Mafwes fly from that airport? As a result, we lost it. So whether you're a Mufwe, you are a you are whatever, if the airport is not constructed, you are a loser. So many projects have been earmarked by government here. But the government has diverted those funds to other regions to say, let them fight. When they finish fighting, we'll come back. But the fight has been on for 35 years, the government has not come back. When are we going to establish a proper, peaceful coexistence for us to develop? Just the other day, last Sunday, I was watching a TV. I don't know whether you watched the profile of Msati region. Before independence, I lived among the Ovambos. I was in Oshakati. Zambezi was far developed than any other region in this country. But today, Zambezi is still only living at Timamure and Bukalo. Go to Msati, there are 12 towns, which was not there. What agenda are we doing as political leaders in the country? When you are elected as a regional councillor, when you are appointed as a minister, what is your agenda for this region? We have been having ministers. I was one of them. But what did we bring this region? And why? Because the community and the ministers believe that when you come to see me in the evening, you must discuss tribalism. That's the only agenda we discuss. But as I said when I became deputy minister in 2015, don't come to me with tribalism, because you will not get it right. Come, let's discuss issues that leads for the development of the people. Then we'll get Sankwasa giving you a hearing here. Why do I not like that? Some people have been saying Sankwasa is a tribalist simply because I resisted Sekanjabuka. That's where my tribalism comes in. But I want to say, there is no way I can come from Sekanjabuka, go and start putting a field in Impalira, go and start putting a field in Kasika without people asking where are you coming from. So when you come from over, you come to Sekanjabuka. We from Sekanjabuka have the right to question you. So that's never tribalism. And I told people, and I want to repeat it here, if that's what classifies Sankwasa as a tribalist, permanently I'll be a tribalist, because you will never invade my village. I will never allow you to invade Sekanjabuka, where my ancestors are. I will not allow it. Because that's where my grandparents are alive. Just like you will not allow me to go and invade your own region or your own place. So let's respect each other that way. And it's not that when we respect each other in terms of these protocols, maybe we have never lived together. In the past, historically, we are told, if a Subia speaking person had a problem with his community, he would go to the Mafia area, he would be accepted. He would be given land. If a Mufwe had, he would come to the Masubia area and he would be accepted and given land. That's why we are mixed up. Why don't we follow the practice of the elderly, the people that we classify as uneducated, but seem to have been more intelligent and more united than us who come from universities? So, Director of Proceedings, some of the things are reserved for July, but I want to request that the chief is elected, nominated by the royal family, not by anybody else. But what is the procedure as done in 1965? When the royal family nominates a person to be a chief, the tribe has the final say whether they approve of that person or not. That's why the late Chief Simvola Maiva said, if my daughters are not approved, take my son. But that nomination is still subject to approval by the tribe. How do we do it? The Ngambela, the Natamoyo, has to call all the district headmen and women to a meeting to approve the nomination by the royal family. If you are simply nominated but are not approved, you cannot become a chief. Let's make that distinction. You cannot. You must be chosen, but you still must be subject to the approval by the tribe through the tribal structures. This same principle was followed when we had to replace Chief Boniface Bebi Mamili. So because all the chiefs in this region don't have a separate culture from the Lord's culture. Today we have been received by Natamoyo here. The position of Natamoyo is reserved for the children from the daughters of the chief, not chieftainship. The children of a woman can only lay claim to a chieftainship if their mother was on the throne, but not if you were not there. If one of the daughters of Chief Simvola Maiva became a chief after the father, then the children of that chief or that female chief would have laid claim because say, my mother was the chief. But if you are not, you cannot claim it. That's the culture that I grew up knowing, and that which you also know. But we went around twisting everything. I said, why it is bringing this? Is it because now the tribe or the community is no more paying the salaries of the chiefs? Now they are paid by government, everybody wants a salary. Everybody wants a car. Unfortunately, the Traditional Authority Act links with Section 66 of the Constitution that recognizes customary and traditional laws. So we have to do things constitutionally, we have to do things legally. That way, we shall be doing and promoting unity amongst ourselves. The development of the Masubia tribe and the Masubia area lies within you as Masubias. And it cannot be destroyed by the same people. So the fact that the region and the area is not developed, let's not blame anybody. Let's blame ourselves. Let's not go out there and blame any other tribe or any other person or any other minister in the government. We must introspect ourselves and see how are we contributing to the lack of development in this region. Right now, this year, we are going to have regional elections. We're going to have local authority elections. Who do you choose to develop you? That's your question. Who do you choose to develop you? It's you yourself. Who is going to sit and choose? But if I want to live peacefully in my home at night, and I've got money to appoint a security guard to guard me, or even the government giving me police officers to guard me as they've done, they would not appoint a blind person. But we sit here, we nominate people, just after nomination, this one will not do anything. Why did you blind? Who do you blame? Why do you choose a person you know will not bring any development? Why do we leave the principles that is laid down for choosing? Right now, it is the tribe, is the royal family and the tribe that approved and nominated the chief. But when it comes to politics, anybody nominates himself. It's me who is standing as a councillor. And we say, yes, you can stand. We never have the ability to say, let's choose a person who is going to help us. Even when a man is dead or a woman is dead, you want to come and have my law. Sure? We don't just say, imagine you have a tile. Huh? It's the family that sits to choose who can be a better person among the children. The children don't nominate themselves. Why do you allow political people to choose themselves? And then when nothing is happening, we blame the government. This is SWAPO. This is SWAPO. No. Let's introspect. Get the right candidates that will bring development. The right candidate that will work with the chief designate. When he calls them to say, this is what I want in that area, this is what I want you to do, they listen. I might be wrong, but if I share with you some of the sentiments I've heard, is that the reason for the resistance of the current chief designate had to do with fish quotas that are being misused. Fish quotas allocated to the traditional authority is being misused. We're still yet to establish that. What was happening with the fish quotas that was allocated to the Masubia traditional authority? Because that falls within my ambit. Was it correctly used? Was it misused? If it was misused, by whom? We'll get to that. But dear tribesmen and women, I'm saying so because I'm in between. As I said, Induna Muhulu Mufukabe was my uncle because his mother and my grandfather are of the same father, same mother. You go to Kabe today, you will get Sikanda there. The son of Kakwivu, my own grandfather's young sister, same father, same mother. So we are mixed here. It's not that maybe someone was saying, Sankwasa is interfering with the Masubia. I am here to stay. You like me, you don't like me, I'm here. And I'll do my job as appointed. Not because you want me to do it that way. I will do it legally and traditionally. Having said so, Chief Designate, as I said, I'm giving you back your own instrument which you drafted as a legal drafter when you were still in the government, the Minister of Justice. I'm giving you this instrument today publicly. So, Director of Proceeding, allow me to do that. That the chief is going to use is one,
paramount, the Constitution of the Republic of Namibia. Because Article 66 of this Constitution recognizes tradition and customs. And we are here dealing with a traditional matter. Is the Traditional Authorities Act, which has got to guide the traditional authority and all communities under the chief or any other part of Namibia. The third instrument I'm giving is the Communal Land Reform Act, because the chief has got to do with customary land rights allocation or disallocation. So these three instruments are your weapons, chief, as you saw, John, in the functions that the community has entrusted on you. And if you do so, as you guided us, there will be peace in this region. There will be peace in the community. I still want to urge you, there is Chief Mamiri in this region, there is Chief Sifu in this region, there is Chief Mayuni in this region. Please, I plead, find a way to coexist with your counterparts. Director of Proceedings, may I allow to be.
Okay, it's quite very much impressive. We have been waiting for this for quite a period of time, almost 4 years. We have been into battle, courts in and out. With the grace of God, eventually now we have the right candidate to be coronated as a chief. With his leadership and management skills, for those that can attest, can inform the public, have a right leader to lead the community and the traditional authority. This can be attested in many various dimensions, looking at his experience. And we should also be reminded that he's a freedom fighter. These are people that we acknowledge as war veterans. At this point of time, we expect quite a lot of improvement in terms of community development and service delivery. He's surrounded by very much capable people, knowledgeable, skilled, to assist him to lead and deliver as expected. With those few remarks, I think let's give him time, give chance, so that he can deliver as expected. Thank you very much.
Thank you.